Canada is a land of new beginnings, rich with diversity and opportunity. Newcomers arrive full of hope, bringing their own stories, cultures, and dreams. But as they settle, there's a story many have yet to hear, the story of the First Peoples, who have called this land home since time immemorial.
Indigenous learning is quite a journey for newcomers who are coming here to Saskatoon, because newcomers, when they come here, they come with their own challenges. A lot of immigrants who are coming here has their own trauma back home. Many, when they come here, they want to settle, so they're looking for housing, health issues, as well as for jobs. And many of them have actually language barriers. They cannot speak English fluently. So getting to a new place with all these challenges is not easy. So on top of that, when they come here and they see, the people here, the community here, they develop kind of certain stereotypes because they don't know about the history and the local communities here. So in community connection, it's our job to actually try to connect the newcomers with the community, and they can thrive in this community.
But Catholicism just erased all of the history we had in our own community. Residential school destroyed a lot of things about me, or tried to, but I survived it. It made me strong. It made me believe again in people, my people, First Nations people, that we were not what they said we were, right? All negative, a lot of that. And you meet people that are kind to you. You meet people that you build trust with.
Indigenous learning is very important because we have a very thriving and very big Indigenous community in Saskatoon. People who want to thrive here, who want to live here, call Saskatoon their home. They need to understand the local community dynamics, the local community culture, their history, and their heritage. That's how they can actually thrive in this community. And this is what we are trying to achieve through this project, to actually help newcomers to understand and connect with Indigenous communities.
This project came with its challenges. One of the biggest was sparking interest among newcomers in learning about Indigenous peoples, history, and culture. How do we help them see the value in this knowledge and make it truly meaningful to their own journeys?
We were not considering that we'll have that much intensive consultation around these materials. And it was very amazing and fascinating for us to learn that how much materials are out there and how many organizations and firms are working on these materials. But there was nothing specifically for the settlement organizations.
Most importantly, we wanted this learning to come from a place of connection, not division. Many newcomers carry their own stories of displacement, trauma, and even colonization.
It reminded me of my old people when they gathered amongst, when we moved into the city, okay? Their languages was their language, right? And it was very, all the time it was through the language. And my grandmother would talk to me in their language and I'd have to explain it in English because she felt ashamed because people were so, and they didn't understand it. And that day, that brought back to my mind. And they had interpreters. And I thought, wow, this is excellent to see. Some of them come over and they said to me, I understood you and we're happy you've come. And I said, well, I'm happy I'm here too, because I'm learning a lot of things too today that even though I've been involved for a while, but we never had that opportunity with such a great crowd. So I was excited about it. And I was telling my friend, you missed out on something. You should have come with us,
We want to facilitate this part of learning so that they can actually, find interesting ways, easy ways to understand these materials. For example, what we have been doing is actually we have been simplifying the materials for the learning purposes for them. We have been trying to make it more visually appealing. That's why this project was so important. So we shared this idea with Indigenous Advisory Committee, with the elders. They appreciated the idea. They actually encouraged us to work on this project and develop these materials, because this is a really, it's a real need and requirement. So we wanted to make sure that these materials are authentic and representing the Indigenous community fairly. So we wanted to make sure that every word we put into these materials are true and they're appropriate, and it's coming from a right source. So that's why intensive consultation was required. That's why we need to have consultation with elders. We needed to have a consultation with the knowledge keepers. We need to have some consultation with other organizations who are our partners in this project.
No matter where we come from, we all cherish land, family, spirituality, and traditions. These shared values connect us, reminding us that we are not strangers. We are people with hopes, roots, and dreams that intertwine with each other in many different ways.
We have values that you have to respect your parents, you have to obey your parents. That's the same. You have that one. The same also in the family. We have to obey your parents, respect, to love your parents, your elders. The same. So we have to start from the family. So from the family, and then going out to the community and to the nation. So from the foundation is from the family.
My name is Ayitegan. Like before the Western came, there was some culture, okay? And then with the colonization, there was what we call acculturation. Like you lost your culture, you discover a new culture, which people let you consider that the best culture than yours.
Actually, involving newcomers in the process of understanding and learning is the most important part of this. So we try to actually involve these newcomers or participants through understanding cultural similarities. That's the main theme first. We will ask questions about worldviews, for example, question around family in different cultures. Once these participant gives us feedback on their practices or their values in their cultures or their understanding on how they are doing different things in their culture, then later on we share what is actually Indigenous people have in their culture, and there are a lot of things in common.
We are very kind people, we're very giving people, and we're very helpful, generous people.
And I love working with all cultures. And I have very proud to be able to build that relationship. And we built a good relationship. We want to make sure that we become a country of good relationships amongst one another.
I think every person needs to know different nationality, languages, art, dance. Everybody needs to know that. Our history was not introduced until way late in my life. In 1980, that's when I started seeing art. Even newcomers, when they come, they need to see where they're going to want to live. And the artwork and the dance and the song and the food, of course, is very, very important to learn when they come here. We always try and make them feel welcome. And I think history has shown that we were never really welcome into society either as First Nations people. So it's important that we share. Our language is beautiful, our dance is beautiful, and the way we dress, and the food. The food comes from the land. That's important.
Indigenous stories and traditions have been silenced for too long, pushed aside by ignorance and systemic racism. Many newcomers never get the chance to truly see the beauty of Indigenous culture or understand the deep wounds left by the oppression of language and identity.
Every one of us have a story. Even though we're Indigenous people, we all have our own stories. And I'm interested when I'm sitting with them because when we do our circles. And I learned something again. You're never too old to learn. The old people will say you're never too old to learn. You listen and you look in that heart. We're Michif people, okay? And like when you look at the status people, their languages, there's different ones. Their languages are different. I can understand a lot of the Cree, but I can't understand some of the others because they're different. We learned how to respect the old people. And when we meet them, we'd say, Tanse, so how are you? We never called them by names. Mantant and Monok, my grandpa's, Moshoms, Kokums, and all these. Those are all by our language. You didn't call them in English. It had to be in our language.
Reconciliation begins with listening and grows through genuine connection. When newcomers and Indigenous communities share their stories with each other, they build understanding, respect, and a stronger, more inclusive Canada that honors people from all walks of life.
Reconciliation was never part of my growing up, because I experienced a lot of racism, a lot of stuff that happened physically because of me for being First Nation. So the misconceptions need to be addressed.
When I came here, I didn't knew anything about Indigenous history or culture. What my understanding is maybe we had seen some pictures of Indigenous community, like especially when they're doing powwows and dance and stuff like that in their regalias. I was fortunate to join Saskatoon Open Door Society, and my first experience of learning was we had sharing circle at Reconciliation Saskatoon. In that circle, I heard the stories of different people, Indigenous community, the trauma they have been through and their families has been through. And at that moment, a lot of questions were flowing around my head.
Connection. It's connecting to people is very up with us, because then you build your friendships, you build your worth, and showing them differently of what they heard and what they've seen. So that's part of reconciliation, showing them who we are.
We need to continue to work together, become friends with one another.
I want to learn more. So the culture of the Indigenous people, the First Nation, and me, why is it I'm here? The newcomers, you are invited here to attend the workshop so that you will know and learn more about their culture. And I'm very thankful on that.
I went and I was really impressed with it. And it was very organized well. And I found that the people were asking questions too, and their interpreters were very busy and, asking the questions. And I found the interest in them. And I thought, We need more of these. We need more of these kinds, and I think it should be more in our community. I really feel that.
This workshop is very nice and good and excellent.
Yeah, it's critical for newcomers to learn all those things because it's part of the history of Canada. They don't have access to what they deserve. You need to learn about that, to be aware of that, and to integrate that in your daily life.
I will try my best to actually contribute to this process of reconciliation in Saskatoon.
This is just the start. Every story shared and every connection made brings us closer to a future built on respect and understanding. Together, we can create a Canada that atones for its past, embraces new voices, and moves forward in truth and reconciliation.